Hello all. Hope those who returned from the VIP tour had a good understanding of how iconic this place is. I think my favourite fact from the tour that I learned was Pink Floyd used this studio as its own personal car park for, I think it was well over a decade. It was fantastic. So this is also Pink Floyd's car park. This is our penultimate panel of the afternoon. I can't believe I'm saying it's gone very, very fast. And I'm delighted to be joined by three brilliant marketing leaders. This panel concludes the formal part of the event before we go on to the B2B CMO, Future B2B CMO 100 award ceremony. But there is always a reason why I like to close our events on this topic. It's because it's another big sticking point for marketing leaders, or any leader really, which is not just what to prioritize, but how to prioritize, given that everything is a priority in this poly-priority economy. And that is my own term, and I will copyright that. But I'm joined by Mark, Preeti, and Utkarsh. Preeti, I'm going to come to you first, if I may. Let's just set the scene. It'd be great to sort of introduce who you are, IFS, and what you've been getting up to. You've had a very, very busy few months at IFS, collectively. What are you prioritizing? Let's start there. Let's go around the panel. What are you prioritizing? And then we'll get to the whys. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get to the art of prioritization.
Yes, so like you said, we've had a very few busy years actually here at IFS on an impressive growth journey. The question that a lot of people here in this audience, I'm sure, also ask is, who is IFS, right? So that's been one of our biggest challenges or opportunities, as I'd like to call it, is how do we prioritize our brand awareness. So if I then think about our own marketing functions and how that then translates into that, growth is a prioritization for us, and that links to a number of factors. More importantly, scalable growth.
Prioritizing growth and innovation both together, because as a marketing business, we can keep pace up with the growth, but you got to be innovative, especially if there are cost pressures, especially if there are things that you need to slow down for now, but you need to pick up in 2024.
I try to make our priority really understanding where the customers are and ensuring that we can be relevant to their needs. They have choices, and quite reasonably. They don't worry about what tech I'm using, what my team looks like, what our sales goals are. They have their own problems. And if we can't make ourselves relevant to them, then all of our priorities, all our internal priorities go out.
Preeti, Utkarsh, you both sort of said growth is a priority for next year. Let's drill a bit deeper into what that means, though, because different companies are different and you might be approaching it different ways. Do you mind explaining how you're approaching growth as a priority? What are you prioritizing within that growth?
Every company is at a different stage. You're facing different factors. Your growth, a small percentage growth or big percentage growth, is still really important. So when I think about growth, specifically in my function, there's two areas as marketers that, the levers that we impact: demand generation and brand awareness. So when I think about the demand generation piece, some of our speakers touched on it before today. Yes, we need to go and grow our net new logos, enter into key markets that we want to dominate. But equally, how do we grow within our install base? How do we retain our customers, expand our footprint, and how do we do more of that organic growth within our own company? Install base is a huge focus for us at IFS. We've got such a rich customer portfolio, and those companies themselves are growing. They're embracing technology. They're embracing a lot of the things that we've talked about today in terms of AI, and how do they then become more innovative?
You have got three things that you need to come together. Definitely, what first is what customer priorities are, what are sales priorities, and they need to match with each other. Marketing priorities cannot be different from customers and sales priority. So we have to look at those two areas first, and then marketing priorities, depending on what markets do we go, what are those industries we need to focus on.
Where do you not go? Where do you say
Exactly.
no to again and again and again? And you do let people down.
That's the hardest thing to
It,
do.
it is
right?
it is
Say
it
no.
is absolutely tough, and you have to be brutal about it, because they need to understand at the start of the financial year, whatever the financial year is, that they're not the priority, and you'll do bits and pieces for them, but they're not going to get the big investment. We're not going to create the big demand in your market space, and it's a really tough thing to do.
How do you create like an adaptable priority communication plan then? Because it's not as if it's a straight road in this economy, and we have to be adaptable and flexible to certain external and internal factors. What does that look like then? Because my next question was going to be on the art of prioritization, which I think is a skill that all of us need to manage.
I'm looking at the market opportunity, and I'm also looking at ability to win. If there's no ability for us as a business to win there, for us it's better to deprioritize rather than prioritize it over something where we can win it easier than what we cannot win.
Things that we've touched upon through the day, it's asking the question why, right? So we've got our prioritization, we do our cadences, we do our QBRs, but it's easy to say, look, we've set a path, now let's just go on it, because we want to achieve and we want to give our teams a sense of achievement. And so if you keep changing that path, sometimes you don't get that sense of achievement. I think we just need to remind, let's just do a sense check. Why are we doing this, and is it still relevant?
You're hopefully not revisiting the strategy every couple of months. The priorities within that will move around, but I think the why gives us an ability to keep aligned to the strategy as it stands. You need to have the product, you've got to have the salespeople, you've got to have the services people, you've got to have the partner model and everything else. So, and if that's the strategy, marketing is just a piece of that.
What's keeping you up at night? Either from anxiety, from excitement, through a mixture of both?
What keeps me awake at night always is the thumb of my target audience. It is scrolling too fast. Keeps on scrolling, jump to the next thing. So whatever, as a marketer, I'm investing in. The next morning, if I can come up with certain ideas which I can brainstorm with my team, then I think it's a win for us. So it is the thumb of my target audience which is keeping me awake at night.
Have a really, really good relationship with the CFO and really understand the financials and what's going on in sales and all that stuff. You've got to be a numbers person. What keeps me awake about that is I know that every good CFO is looking at that marketing spend line and knowing that they can make their lives easier by dropping the marketing spend line onto earnings.
I watched this little thing on social, and it's called "What's Your Duvet Flip? What Gets You Up in the Morning?"
Okay,
as well. So I
heard
thought that's
that.
quite cool. Let me start with excitement. Like I talked about growth, so this, the art of the possible of what we can do within our function is what is my duvet flip, is what gets me excited about what we can achieve with the great teams that we have and the access that we have to tech and knowledge. What makes me anxious, for me, it's execution. Like we can strategize the hell out of anything, but how are we going to execute, and how do we continue to show value to our customers, but also value to the business that gives us the seat at the table as marketeers?
Thank you all for your time this afternoon.
Thank you.